Hey, what up, everybody? Welcome to the Film Focus page. It's me, Mr. P, again. I'm going to be giving you my newest review of Blade Runner 2049. Directed, starring Harrison Ford and Ryan Gosling. Now, this film for me has to be one of the most anticipated films ever. Purely because this film has been made 35 years after the original. And the original film was one that was way ahead of its time, but upon general release was panned by critics. Nobody got it. And it was only until after 5 releases, yes, that's right, folks, 5 different interpretations, 5 releases, 5 DVD cuts, it was then anticipated that this film was, okay, this has to be one of the best films ever made. And it was an instant classic. And this film helped inspire other future science fiction films. Now, this film stars Ryan Gosling as a Blade Runner called Kay. And in this film, he discovers that there was a replicant who was pregnant, who was giving birth to a child, and he's been given orders by his superiors to try to locate this child and destroy whatever evidence there was of this child in the process. So basically, get rid of her. Now, this film was directed by Denis Villeneuve, who is one of the best up-and-coming directors around. All of his films have been critically acclaimed. He did The Arrival, he did Prisoners, and he did really, really well in this film as a director. The film is visually impressive. And, it follows on for the tradition of the first film. Very, very futuristic, really impressive. Ryan Reynolds gives a really, really good performance. And you can tell that, he's following on from the performance of Harrison Ford's character, Deckard. A really, really lone wolf type of character. Very morose. He just gets on with the job. And, he doesn't really have a lot of friends. And he doesn't really like to talk to people or take orders from anybody. And, this film it takes a while to get going. It's not your standard science fiction film, This film is about 2 hours and 42 minutes. And, it's a very, very, very well-paced film. Again, and it takes its lead from the first film. It's very, very well-paced. And again, for me, I felt that this film could have been a bit, it could have cut a lot of the scenes from this film. I felt that had it cut down at least 30 minutes from this film, you would have had a more succinct film. But with that being said, it's still a very good film with some very, very impressive action sequences all around. Harrison Ford's character, even though he's on the billboard posters, and again, he was one of the original members of the Blade Runner films, he isn't in the film that much. He's in the film, in the third act of the film. And you could say that his performance is almost a cameo. But with that being said, he gives a really, really good performance as Grizzled Detective Deckard. And I think that's one of his best performances to date. And again, with Blade Runner, you don't have to see the first film. There are some slight references to the first film, and it would help if you've seen the first film. But it doesn't have that many references to the first Blade Runner. Some, but not a lot. But as a film, it is still very, very good. Jared Leto's performance was really, really good in this film. I was really, really impressed with him, and he's turned into one of these method actors. He plays a blind guy in the film, and from my understanding, he demanded that he be blind on set at all times. As a film, and again, this film will take some getting used to, I don't think it'll be a film for everybody. It's not one of those like science fiction that everybody's going to enjoy, like I say, an iRobot or a Minority Report. This is a film that requires you to put your thinking cap on. It's a puzzle film. And all the little pieces of the puzzle have to be put into place before we get the complete picture. And that's why a lot of people may be put off by, the 2 hour and 42 running time. I don't mind a long film as long as it's engaging. And for me, there were parts of the film where I wasn't engaged. For some of the part, but not all of it. So I feel that, this film, some people will be on the fence with this one. And again, some people have deemed it a flop because it hasn't made back its budget already. But again, with time being good to this film, I can see it still standing up as one of the greats. And, a film doesn't have to be a box office hit for it to be, a critical and commercial success or to rely in the hearts of other people. Shawshank Redemption wasn't like that. It didn't make its money back. Neither did The Usual Suspects, but these films are some of the most acclaimed films of all times. So I definitely do see Blade Runner being in that same, fitting in that same pantheon. This film has been described as a standalone film. And it's not going to be, in the latest installment, there's not going to be a fresh new run of Blade Runner films. But with that being said, there are some question marks in this film. Not to give you any spoilers, but, with Jared Leto's character, he's in the film some of the time, but not all of the time. And when we shift to, you know, the dynamic between Kay and Deckard, you know, we're left with this like big question mark as to, okay, well, what happened to Gerard Leto's character? So there could be an opening for a sequel in this film. You never know. But as a film, you know, I thought it was really, really good. You know, I didn't think it was great. You know, I think like the hype, you know, kind of raised my expectations, and I thought, you know what, some of it was justified, some of it wasn't. But I think that could be due to the fact that the film has been made like 35 years after the original. You know, and as a film, I definitely think it's as good as its predecessor. I definitely do feel that as a science fiction film, it is very, very good and visually impressive. I think the cinematography was excellent. I think the set designs were excellent. I can see this film winning some awards in those categories in the next Academy Awards. But as a film, I thought it was really, really good. You know, in parts, I felt that the running time could have been cut down a bit and we would have had a more consistent film. But I thought that the film was really, really good. So I'll give this film 7 out of 10. So if you haven't seen Blade Runner, and, you know, if you've seen the first film and you're intrigued by the second film, I definitely urge you to watch it. Is it one for the DVD collection? Well, I don't have the first one, so I don't see myself in getting the second one. But if you've seen the first film and if you've got the DVD release, I definitely urge you to get this out on Blu-ray or something like that. And I definitely do think that you'll enjoy this film. I think it's really, really good. And, you know, again, there are some question marks. Like me, you might think, okay, they may do a sequel. So, folks, that's my review of Blade Runner 2049. Tell me what you think. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. Feel free to leave your comments below. Let me know what you think about the film. Have you seen the first Blade Runner? Have you seen the second one? Do you think they were as good as each other? Which one do you think was the best? Would you like to see a third one, possibly? Feel free to hit me up, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I shall see you on the next film review. Stay blessed and take care. Peace.